So, on Microsoft, on MSFT, is that what it is, .com, so this news article says, Microsoft says they don't need Crackdown 3 this year because there's more than enough AAA content for Xbox One this holiday season. True, but that's not what we're here to talk about. What I'm here to speak about is pretty much, it's a heart-to-heart. I'm not here to start a console war. I'm not here to gloat, that I have a PlayStation, or a PlayStation is superior, even though it is. I'm not here to, do anything that, is there to belittle or make anybody feel like they've made the wrong decision in purchasing an Xbox, even though I think they have. But I wanted to put this out there. Good friend of mine. He's on Xbox. He bought a PlayStation initially when the consoles came out, and I don't think he'll mind me telling this story. But he bought the PlayStation initially, and then he switched to the Xbox, and we're very good friends. So when I wanted to make my own purchase of the Xbox or the PlayStation, we really went into debating and researching. He's a great dude, and I love having conversations with him. He's very level-headed. He doesn't argue. He doesn't, he can state his position very calmly. And I like to be on the other side of arguments with him because I know we're still going to be friends at the end of it. And so, he said, I really like the PlayStation, but I just wanted an Xbox just because of preference, or something like that. And, he stated why. And also, he doesn't play a lot of video games. At first he said, well, I don't play a lot of video games. And I was like, lies, those are just excuses. You got a war, nah. And I was just making fun of it. And he's like, yeah. Honestly, those games are pretty good-looking games, but I don't play those. But this Spider-Man game, you could tell, in his eyes, he said, this Spider-Man game, though, it was really good-looking. He watched some gameplay. A mutual friend of ours, went and got the PS4 Pro and was playing the Spider-Man 4, and you could see, I was looking at him, I was like, so you're going to get the PlayStation now? He didn't put a response. But I won't be surprised at the end of this video if he, hits me up and says, hey man, I caved in and I got myself a PlayStation 4 Pro and I have Spider-Man right now, because that game is just well polished, well made. So I want to put this out there for our Xbox, family, and say, it's time for you to rethink, what your investment is in this, console generation. Buying a video game is pretty much an investment in your entertainment. That's what it is. I mean, it'll blow a bunch of your time, but you're buying it to, for your own personal entertainment. So if you're the kind of person that doesn't really care about single player games, that doesn't care about adventure games, that doesn't care about the exclusives that Sony puts out, well, no problem, because you buy and use whatever suits you. But if you were waiting for some console exclusives from Microsoft, many of them haven't happened. A lot of people have mocked the listings and the offerings because they don't seem impressive at all. If you're waiting for them to do anything that's of any use, I don't think they are interested in doing it, to be honest. I've been watching and following the pattern. First of all, it was that, crossplay, when really nobody cares about crossplay. And I was talking to some friends and they were like, man, we remember the Xbox 360 generation, that the Xbox was killing PlayStation. PlayStation had to struggle and make its way into the scene because of games like Gears of War. I mean, everybody was playing that thing. I remember coming to the United States, and in the dorm rooms, I go to my friends' dorm rooms, and everybody is on their headphones, and they're just religiously playing Call of Duty and Gears of War. It was crazy. 1 hour, everybody will switch. All right, guys, let's switch to Gears of War. And then, this one guy and a bunch of other guys in the different rooms in the dorms, they'll all switch. They'll get in there, and all right, guys, let's go back to Call of Duty. And everybody was on the Xbox. I kept wondering, am I going to find a PlayStation somewhere? Growing up in Africa, PlayStations were very common. It wasn't a big, Xbox. What? And then I came here and everybody had an Xbox. So I had to learn how to use an Xbox. And funny enough, my first, console of that generation was an Xbox. Somebody gave me an Xbox. They had two. That's crazy. One person had two Xboxes and they're like, hey, yeah, you can have this Xbox 360. That's not really, the case right now in that sense, in popularity. Because if you have an Xbox, what is the benefit right now in regard to that genre of video games? I can understand if it's one thing if the video games don't suit your play style, and then definitely fine. But if you're rethinking it, if you're wondering, I wonder if I should invest, if I should continue to invest in this, hoping that Microsoft is going to drop, some exclusives that's going to be eye-catching. To be honest, I don't think that they are, interested in doing that. And let me explain, it's 5 minutes into the video, but help me out and just, give me a few more seconds. it costs them it costs them $0 to make or put out any new IPs. Yes, they're opening new studios. I understand that they're opening and taking, the initiative is one studio. I made a video about it, all that good stuff. But in reality, it costs them very much less to make a game for this console generation right now than anything else. So all they can do is just ride on the sales of the current AAA titles. So this thing that says here, there's more than enough AAA content for Xbox One this holiday season. It's very true. They can just ride on the AAA titles that are coming on. Red Dead Redemption, Battlefield 5, I don't know what the other games are that are listed for the rest of the year, but there's a whole slew of them that are coming out toward the end of the year. And this is going to still net Microsoft a lot of money. Everything else, is just pretty much as it comes. And so they make money and they don't get to spend or shell out millions of dollars making these exclusives. I think Sony strategically planned on how to knock them out toward the end of the generation and then create consumer confidence, because right now as I speak to you, a lot of consumers that are on the Xbox side are making the flip, no doubt. I mean, look at the slew of quality games to play. Like if you're serious about gaming, one of them must have caught your interest. It's not, it's not a matter of just saying, these are games and your console. No, I'm talking about quality games and then your interest as a gamer. And so rethink the whole, Microsoft this generation. Maybe next generation they'll be competitive, because right now they've acquired, Ninja Theory. They started another, studio called The Initiative. But these studios, especially The Initiative, they clearly stated that they wanted to, have that studio make console exclusives. And also there was word that the console exclusives are probably going to be for the next generation. So this generation, Microsoft has already counted their losses, and they're like, no, making a new console exclusive right now is probably very risky for them. So what I would say right now is, until you start hearing that Microsoft is acquiring licenses or Microsoft is acquiring, more new studios, and you can do the math and say, okay, we're averaging or looking around maybe like 8 to 10 console exclusives, hopefully, I would not even think about, looking toward the next Xbox on the next generation. I'm not trying to be a downer. I'm just saying, as a gamer, to get the best value for your money, the route to go might be looking into, getting a PlayStation. Now, even the same for PlayStation. If I don't hear a lot of announcements about console exclusives for the next generation, I may not buy any of the consoles until I see some real, until I see some concrete, development and process for that generation. So, people like us may not buy the new console eventually when it first comes out, the new, generation of consoles. We'll probably wait, buy it cheap. That's just the way I think to go as a, if you want to be financially savvy, and wait to make sure that there are exclusives that are lined up, because Xbox might be planning a comeback and a takeover. So I want to be on the right side of history at every given time. Now, when I made my decision to buy the PlayStation, I made that based on preference. It's not like I knew or I did the research, but eventually it started to look like it had been the right decision for me. So that's all I wanted to put out there for my Xbox folk, my Xbox community. I once owned an Xbox. I sold it because I just didn't have, much to do on there. I said EA. Microsoft is busy selling, a game subscription service and making a lot of money instead of delivering the content to their own users. So consider that, this might be the generation where you just have to, take that, hit and, make the switch if you need to. And some people already have both consoles, and, hopefully they were thinking they could get the best of both worlds. And they probably are. It's whatever value it is to them. So that's all I wanted to put out there, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for your time and your audience. Thanks for watching this video. I appreciate your time. Consider subscribing, and I guess I'll see you in my next video. Peace.